All righty, here we are. Welcome to another Gatton CNC Live. Happy Veterans Day, everybody. If you're a veteran out there, let me thank you for your service. We'll do a quick rundown here and see who we got here. Looks like we got a pretty good crowd here today. Troy Pritchard, how you doing, Troy? Robert, how you doing? Gary Long, Ray Jones, Dickinson, Texas. Let's see, Paul Stewart. Ele is here. No, wait, is it Al? I don't know. I might as well give up. I'm just going to call you Al. How you doing? Good to see you. Kevin Els from across the pond also. Let's see, Gary Long, Texas, old capital of the world. All right. Dave Krause, can I ask you something? Yeah, but you don't have to yell. Ramon, I'm going to say. Afternoon. Steve from Hornell Media. We got an anonymous here. If you'll give Facebook permission to use your picture, then you'll get called on if you have any questions or anything. Mark Lindsay CNC is in the house. Good to see you, Mark. Brian Ellis, Michael Schuler. Let's see, Harry's Place is here. Ron Ledger, Kevin Harder, Jim Senecola's here. How you doing, Jim? Michael McCright, Charles Steed. And I got another, Facebook user down there. Got to give Facebook permission to use your name on the thing because it's a private group. They won't, or because it's with StreamYard, they won't let you. Got to give them permission to use your name in your photo. Oh, let's see. I'm going to do something. How many out there? I can already tell some of you, but how many of y'all out there are brand new to CNC? You know, these are the kind of things I'm trying to do more to help the brand new person than the person that's been doing this a while. Because, you know, we've got the Facebook group. If you've been doing this a while, you probably got a ton of help from there. But these are some things I'm going to try to show that, you know, you just might not see other places. But anyway, let's see here. Al says, I wonder what makes some names difficult to read anyway. I'm terrible at names, period. It's just, I'm just not very good at names. Okay. Michael says he's brand new to Mach 3, but some CNC. CNC, never heard of it. Okay. Well, you're in the right place, Mark. We'll try to show it. Well, what I thought I would do, you know, it's, you know, it's Veterans Day, so it's November 11th. So we're getting close to Black Friday, which is the day after Thanksgiving, which, you know, unless you've been living in a cave somewhere, you know that that's the official start of the 2020 Gatton CNC Christmas Challenge. So I know there's some folks, and I've seen this in the past, and I've seen it pretty recently, as a matter of fact. But I know there's some folks that will finish building their machine and okay, I got a clue who this might be now. All right. But, you know, they finish building their machine and then, you know, they get the setup going. They've checked to make sure that the steps per are correct and maybe even done a test thing and everything. And then they're like, okay, I want to cut something. But they don't really know what to do, or they haven't spent that much time in whatever drawing software they use. I'm going to be talking about VCarve Pro simply because that's what I always talk about. That's what I've been using for years. And it's, as far as I'm concerned, it's probably the best stuff out there. But if you use something different, if you use something that's some of the free stuff or whatever, all this will probably still apply. But what I want to do is I want to show, and I've done this before in past streams, I think, but I kind of want to go through and show some of the brand new people how, if you've got an idea, but you're not very good at drawing yet, you can kind of cheat a little bit. I'll call it cheating. I don't really like to use that word, but it's you can use some resources that are on the internet. Now, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to, if I can not screw this up, I'm going to open up Google. Good old Google. And I think I've already got this. There we go. So let's just say that we want to make some kind of a project for the Christmas challenge. So somebody out there in the chat, give me an idea for some kind of a Christmas themed something or other. I'll give you a minute. Y'all start putting your things in there. I wanted to do this totally live and random, so y'all won't think I had all this planned out, and that's why it looks easy. Of course, I got to tell you, today has been, you ever had one of those days where everything you touch turns to I've had one of those days. So I almost thought, well, maybe I shouldn't do this live because so far it hadn't been great. That's why you see me drinking coffee at 3 p.m. I'm like, I need more coffee. This just hadn't been a good day. Okay, Harry's Place mentioned a Grinch. Do we have any other suggestions? If not, we'll go with the Grinch. And that's probably a pretty good one to go by. Christmas scroll. Okay, I'm going to go with the Grinch. We may do another one here. Go ahead and if you think of something, go ahead and put it in. But I'm going to search Grinch. Oh, it came up with my name. No, I'm just kidding. It's a wonder it didn't, though. Okay, so I'm going to just put in Grinch, and then I'm going to come over here. And then, again, this is for the new guys who may not. There's no such thing as Xmas. This is a Christmas challenge. So let's go to, I'm in Google. I've looked up Grinch. And let's go click on images and see what they have. And, of course, there's a slew of them over here for the Grinch. Now, what I like to do is try to narrow this down instead of picking anything, because when you get something here, Snowflake, that's a good one. Let's keep politics out of it, guys. Come on. So I like to try to narrow it down to something that is going to be less work once I get it into VCarve Pro. So let's go to, I'm going to change hit on the tools, and it will drop this other side line down here. So what I'll do is I'll go to type, and you notice it's right now it's on any type. So you get any kind of picture, a lot of JPEGs, PNGs, what have you. You can change this to clip art, and then you're going to get some different stuff. That one doesn't look too bad. He's got that nice grin on his face there. Another thing you can do is you can come down to here and click line drawing. And now you get something where this is going to make it a lot easier for Vectric VCarve Pro when it does the bitmap trace. I like to use the black and white and go with a line drawing. So you notice each time I set up a filter, there's less and less choices. but the ones that are choices are going to be better for me to use so that there'll be less cleanup. And again, let me also say right off the bat here too, um, probably especially the Grinch, I'm sure probably all this stuff is probably copyright. If you're using it and you're just going to make one for yourself, you're probably okay. Nobody's going to give you any static about that. But of course, if you do make one for yourself and then your neighbor Bob sees it and he wants one and all that, and then you got people wanting to buy them from you and all that, just make sure that you're not using something that's copyrighted that you're going to get in trouble for. I have no intentions of even making or selling any of this stuff, but I'm just doing this to show you. So we will pick, I don't know, what does anybody have a favorite one they like here? They all look pretty good. I kind of like this one right here. Let's see what it says. It says free printable Grinch. So it's obviously just a black and white thing. So that would probably translate into VCarve Pro pretty well. So I'm going to go ahead and grab that one. We'll save the image as, and we'll have to wait on this slow pokey computer here. Stephen, yeah, if I can, man, I don't know why this is taking forever. Let me go ahead and see if I can close that out. Google Chrome's not responding. Let's see if I can wait. Yes, you can also filter by usage rights. And that will give you even less choices, probably. But I was going to go back and show. Okay, here we go. We finally got it. All right, let's see. Can you hear? I'm going to put my glasses on. Can you hear the Grinch coloring page? All right, so this is a PNG image. And I'm just going to save it. It's here on the desktop. So we'll save that one. Now, Stephen, back to your question. Up here, let me, I'll go back. In fact, this starts out like this. And I've got images. And then when you click tools, that will drop down. And I have clicked, it was like this. By default, it'll be, well, get back down here. It'll be on any type. So I went to a line drawing as one filter. And then I went to color as black and white, just because I know I'm going to be doing a bitmap trace and I like to do the black and white. They seem to work better than the other. And then also, like I was saying, you can go to usage rights. Right now, the default is everything. You can go to Creative Commons licenses or commercial and other licenses. So if I click that one, yeah, we lost that one that I got. You can see there's not much here because just about everything has some kind of a thing here. Yeah, it looks like that one disappeared completely after that. You can also go by size. This is for any size, but I don't really care about size because we can scale it anyway. Okay, so now let me see if I can. I've got VCarve Pro open here. So let me, oh man, I don't know what I ran last, but it's got, all right, I'm just going to set this up for 24 by 24 by a ½ inch. Okay, now let me get this over here. Now we will import that PNG. Let's see if it'll find it. It was there on the desktop somewhere. Well, this is, You can tell I didn't already set this up because it's having to hunt through to find it. Bear with it just a second. It'll find it here in a minute. Steven says, great. I learned something. I did not know Google did that. Okay. All right. So let's go to date modified. Let's see. Okay. Here was that thing. All right. So there we have our Grinch. So now we've got kind of a cool image, and I haven't drawn a single thing. Well, it was super easy to get. Let's see if this thing is set for like 24 by 24. Let's make it, let's make it 16 by 16. Make it a little more reasonable. Okay. Okay. And of course I can hit okay there. Now, if you've watched Mark Lindsay's videos, I'm sure he's probably done a video on this. And, yeah, if your thing's coming up Facebook user like this, you'll have to give Facebook your permission to get in here. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they did too. I don't know what happened to it. It looks like, yeah, I don't know. There must have been a cluster there somewhere, and they decided to take that out. But I know there used to be a free, because you go to search the free, and you knew you were safe from copyright stuff. But it would also, severely limit what was available, because pretty much everything out here has got some kind of a copyright or something on it. All right, well, let's go here and we'll just do the bitmap trace on here, if I can remember where stuff is. I think that's it, yeah. And we are doing, we'll do the black and white, like I said. And let's see, bitmap fading. We'll bring that to 9 so that I get a good look at this. And this looks pretty clean, so it may, let's see if this does anything. I don't know about noise. All right, I'll leave that about where it was, I guess. All right, and then we can preview it. And that looks like that may not be too bad. I'm going to go ahead and apply that and close that. And then I'll come over here and turn off this bitmap layer. And there we go. There's our Grinch. So basically you could carve this just like this. And I've spent just a few minutes even finding something like this. So let's do that. Let's just come over here, and I don't know how this is going to work out, but we'll just highlight this whole thing, and we'll hit VCarve. We'll do a 60 degree, a quarter is what pops up. I'll go ahead and stick with that and see how that comes out. So I'm just basically using whatever pops up in this thing. So there we go. And of course, if you were to change the toolpath color, you could get a little bit better idea of how it's going to look. So there you go. So this is kind of what I wanted to show the guys that are brand new, because you don't really have to have any artistic talent. As long as somebody else has it, you can go find it on the internet and get it like this. Now, of course, like I said, you got to be careful if you're making copyright stuff. You sure don't want to be selling it. If you're making it for yourself or your kids or something, I'm sure you'll be okay with that. But this is a really super easy way that I think a lot of people forget about. You can also go to another thing to get ideas is to go to Pinterest and just look through the stuff there. You'll find all kinds of different things. And let's see, did I close that out? Yeah, I think I did. I closed out Google. Okay, so I'm going to bring this back over here. add this back in. And somebody else said, where was it? Snowflake, I think. So let's just type in snowflake. Again, we'll do the same thing we did before. We'll come over here and select the images. Here you got all kinds of stuff. Again, by default, it's always, let's see. I was looking to see if they hid that free thing somewhere. But I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to go black and white. And then I'm going to go type. I like to use the line drawings. And here you can see you get all kinds of cool stuff here. Again, we could set this to different licenses. Yeah, trying to find one that looks like it would come in good. Here's one that's kind of cool because it's on an ornament. But you'd be surprised what you find in here. You might get an idea where you were thinking about doing something else, and then you get over here and start looking, and you go totally in a different direction of what you were first looking at. So let me switch that back to all. And we'll grab one that's, I don't know. Let's see. This one says free printable, so we'll grab that one. Let's see what this one, we're going to have to wait again, looks like. So I don't know. I don't think anybody over here in the chat answered me when I asked how many were brand new folks. Troy says, yeah, get sidetracked easily. Yeah, it's because when you search for one thing, it always throws other stuff in there too. And then as you're scrolling down, looking at the different pictures and stuff, you may see something and go, oh, I didn't think about that. And then, all right, so I'm going to save this. Well, I guess I better type in snowflake. All right, so now I'll drop this down and we'll go new. I guess, yeah, I'm not going to save that. You guys can see that it's super easy. What did it take me, like 5 or 10 minutes? That even while explaining that, it didn't take long to come up with something. He says Etsy has lots of SVG files for cheap. Yeah, and of course there's lots of stuff that you can find on Thingiverse too. That people upload there. That there's a lot of 3D printing type stuff, but there's also a lot of 2D stuff as well. All right, so let's see if I can pull in this snowflake. I don't even remember what kind of thing that was. There it is right there. All right, it's kind of small. But you can see for black and white, this should come in pretty easy. I just always turn all the bitmap fading off. I don't know, this one may not be. We'll see. Maybe a little blocky. All right, and we'll turn this off. And there is our snowflake. And then we can scale it, be a little bigger. We'll scale it to be a good bit bigger. Again, a lot of this stuff, when you bring it in, it doesn't have to be all symmetrical and everything. Snowflakes aren't supposed to be anyway, from what I hear. So you could just bring this up and boom, there you go. I'll put that in there just so you can, oops. Well, no, there we go. Okay, so there's the black toolpath. So there's a snowflake. So there's just a couple of examples right there. But because I always have people go, well, I'd like to enter that Christmas challenge, but I just don't have any idea what to make. Well, there's two right there I've done in, how long we've been on here? 20 minutes or so. So it's not hard to find stuff. And if you don't, if you're like me, because I don't have any artistic talent, I can't draw a straight line using a ruler and a pencil. So it's real easy to go on to Google. I use Google Images. There's probably, you could just look out there on the internet and find all kinds of stuff in other places as well as Google. Yeah, that's another thing to think about too, is I could actually I could move this over here somewhere, and then I could bring in that Grinch or whatever kind of thing I can see here. I shouldn't do this stuff without my glasses. Okay, so here's the Grinch. See, that's the cool thing about getting stuff like this. You can bring in, I don't know that those really go together, but I'm just saying you could, oh, I know why that came on. It's because this is on here. All right, so we'll do this Grinch again. Okay, so there you got a Grinch and a snowflake. So if you wanted to do something like a Santa Claus and you found a cool Santa Claus, but then you wanted to have him like propped up on the sleigh or something, you could go find a sleigh that worked, just all kinds of things. And like I said, if you paid attention and watch Mark Lindsay CNC's videos on VCard, you'll know how to make this stuff real easy. I'm just trying to show you where you can get some images. Because they're out there all over the place. But again, always watch out for the copyright stuff. Which it always happens to be a problem. You make something, and even though you're using maybe a copyrighted image, and you're thinking, well, it's just for us and just for the kids. But somebody sees it, and then they're like, oh man, can you make me one of those? Well, that's when you can get in trouble with using that kind of an image. So just be aware of that. Tim says, so do sites such as Pixabay, Free Pick, and likes. You can filter by free options, then download the SVGs. Much better file for scaling, as Mark mentioned. Yeah, I always do that, Mark, because it seems like when you try to size it first, then it gets even wonkier. So it seems like if you trace the image, however it comes in, whatever, like that snowflake, you saw how small that was, trace it and then scale that once you created the vectors, because it'll get more pixelated and stuff if you go, no, let me fill up that blank, and then I'll do the bitmap trace. So, okay, he says he does it the same way. All right. Troy says, I would think that you would have to modify the image quite a bit for copyright purposes. Well, it probably for something like the Grinch, it probably wouldn't matter how much you modified it. The Grinch character is probably um, not yours, basically. Uh, Steven says trace with the software. I'm not sure what you mean by that question, Stephen. What I'm doing with when I do that is I'm using this right here, which is they call it a bitmap trace, but it's basically tracing. Like probably neither one of these were bitmaps. They might have been Well, I think that one was a PNG, and but it just means that type of a raster type file is. I don't know why they decided to call it trace bitmap. Maybe Mark knows. He's got an in there with Vectric. Maybe he knows. But they've called it trace bitmap for uh, as long as I can remember. But it traces other things besides just a bitmap file. In fact, I don't like to use a bitmap file. So, all right, let me scroll back here, see if I missed anything. Wikipedia, yeah, they would be a resource. All right, I guess I didn't miss much. And there's Jesse. How you doing, Jesse? Getting ready for another stupid hurricane thing? I'll be so glad when 2020 is over. it's just crazy. And I'm not even down there on the coast like you guys. All right, let's see. I don't see any other thing. Don't see any questions. All right, Gary Long, I think had a question, unless he was talking about asking somebody in the chat here. He asked earlier if he could ask something. I don't remember where it went. Oh, there it is. So ask away if you've got a question. Yeah, they use bitmap to mean all raster type images. They didn't want to confuse folks because raster has other meanings in CNC. That is true. And no doubt it would have confused people. Although I'm sure there's probably somebody going, well, what kind of trace do I use if I got a PNG? Okay, he asked it. All right. I must have missed it then. All righty. Well, I'm going on 35 minutes here. Like I said, folks, I just wanted to show, and I think I've showed this before. I know when I used to have people come here and pick up CNCs from me, I would always give them a little demo, and I would always show them that, even if you don't have any talent and are good at drawing stuff, that's a good way to get started making different things with your CNC. Gary says scroll up. So, well, you'll probably have to ask it again because I don't see it. Unless it wasn't for me. If it was maybe you got it answered by somebody else. I don't know. But it only shows. Well, it may have disappeared because I'm looking here on StreamYard, and after so many comments, they drop off. So I don't see it. But if you didn't get it answered, ask it again real quick. And we'll see if we know. But how many of y'all out there, since we got like 50 some folks watching here right now, how many folks out there have got a project planned for the Gatton CNC Christmas Challenge? Gary said he asked about grounding the board from episode 5. Okay, I've got that demo board sitting right over here. Let's see if I can pick this up without Let's see. If I had known somebody was going to ask me a question, I'd have pointed my camera the other way. But let's see if episode 5, that's probably back when I did that other board. And I think probably if I remember right, we were using this board right here. And what I showed was there's a place where on here there's a 5 volt line right here, and I came out of that. This board was here, and I came out of that, and I came down to this. That's why there's no wires on this little junction box here. And I just tied that 5 volts from there to there, and then all the other ones got their 5 volts from right there. I think that's what you're talking about. Facebook user ask, is there a particular topic or set of requirements for the contest? You can find everything you need to know about this right here. And it's the Gatton CNC Christmas Challenge. This will be our 5th one. So the idea is you create a Christmas themed project, like a snowflake or a Grinch or a stocking or a Santa Claus or a sleigh or a reindeer, or, something that makes you think of Christmas, a wreath, something, something similar like that. But it needs to have a Christmas theme to the project. Okay, what about the ground? Okay, well, you're going to have, are you talking about for the motors or I mean for the drivers, or are you talking about like adding a homing switch, touch plate? What are we talking about here? Because one of them, like this yellow and this white right here, is for this e-stop down here. You're going to have one of them that's going to go to whatever pin, your input pin, you're going to have assigned. And then the other one's going to go to a ground. This board happens to have a ground for right beside each place where the pin is. This other one does not. It only had that one 5 volt place, and you need 5 volts for all that stuff to work. So instead of trying to cram 6 wires into that one thing, which you'd never fit them in there, you just run the 5 volt down to here and then tie all the other ones into that right there. And then the other one goes to whatever pin. Christmas guitar. Well, I don't really think of Christmas when I think of guitars, but you made it shaped like a reindeer or something, I guess that might work. Okay, there's David from Portal Woodworks. All right, anybody got any other questions? Otherwise, if not, I'm going to get out of here. It's like I said, it's been one of those days or one of those mornings. After I decided to do this, everything kept turning to so I thought about maybe I'll cancel it, but I didn't do one last week. But I appreciate y'all tuning in here. We've had a good crowd, 50 some folks in here. Um, hopefully, I hate it because I know most of these folks already know how to do this stuff I'm showing, but maybe there's one or two folks out there that's, let's see what Tim says here. I'm brand new to CNC and I'm interested in cutting pieces to use as a template for larger projects, essentially looking to use a small machine to tile pieces together pieces for larger projects. It's really easy to do, Tim. I'll give you my 2 cents worth, and then everybody else can chime in and tell you. I had a request, and most of you know Zach Manning. He asked me, it's probably been 2 or 3 years ago now. He had something that a customer wanted, and it was really big, and he couldn't cut it on his machine because at the time I think he just had that Iconic. I don't think he even had the Axiom yet, but had the small bed. So I said, yeah, sure. What do you got? So he has, let me see if I bet you I can't find it. But if you ever watch any of Zach Manring's videos where he's down in his shop, you'll see a huge horse. It's actually like a Mustang. It almost looks like the Mustang, the car logo. But he was doing something for, I don't know whether it was a school or I don't remember what it was. But anyway, he had this huge thing and he wanted it really big. Well, it was so big, in fact, that it was going to be bigger than 4x4. So what I did is, actually, he could have done it himself. He just would have had to make more pieces. But I used 1/2-inch MDF. And I brought it into VCar Pro and, just got this big horse. And then I just went and I said, okay, let's do it into thirds. So I did it like this and picked another line and drew it like that and then broke it. So I made 3 separate pieces. And then I cut them out of 1/2-inch MDF. And if you take, I know y'all know how MDF cuts it. Other than being messy and dusty, it cuts beautiful. You get a perfect straight edge. So all you have to do is just take the 3 pieces and butt them together. If you want to get fancy and make like a little, dog bone type thing or something where they interlock, you could do that. But for most cases, you just butt them together and then clamp them to the piece that you're going to use. Like, for example, I think he was making this out of plywood, like 3/4-inch plywood, a big 4x8 sheet. So all you have to do is lay those pieces on there, clamp it down, and then you can, draw the line around it, cut it out way outside the line with a jigsaw or whatever, and then put those, then clamp those pieces on there and take your flush trim bit, and you won't be able to, the end result will be you won't even be able to tell whether it was done with a CNC or a hand router. It's really easy to do. I've done it another time. I had a guy that I worked with back when I was working for somebody else, and he had kind of a little part-time sign shop in his basement. He had like a big vinyl cutter and stuff like that. Well, he was doing a sign, and again, it was big, and it had, I can't think of the name of it. He sent me a picture of it when it was done. But I did the same thing. It was letters of the company's name, and I just took it and made it where I could make it in different pieces. And then back then, I did that on that little metal sidewinder over here that's got a 40x26. So there's nothing that's too big for your CNC. It may be too big for your CNC to cut it all at once, but there's nothing you can't do with it. That's what kills me. These guys build these great big CNCs, and I don't get it. You don't need one that big. You can do anything big with a smaller CNC. It just takes a little working at it. All right, let's see. I'm missing some stuff here. all you Facebook user people that are showing up here, you need to give Facebook your permission to use your name on here. Yeah, MDF guitar body and neck templates. Yeah, I've got all kinds of stuff, templates made out of MDF. Tons of them. All right. Any other questions? I hope that helped you out there, Tim. Like I said, if you've got, you just try to, when you're making pieces, try to make it where there's always a straight line that's going to butt up to another straight line. So you don't have some curves and stuff, because they may not fit good, but it's not hard to do. All right, I've been on there 50 minutes. It's time for me to get off of here. Let me look before. Aaron asked, is there any progress on the Z-axis for the garage works? No, I probably won't even think about doing that. There's just not enough demand. The garage works is, and I've said this before, I don't even list them for sale anymore. The Gatton CNCs are way, way, way more popular than the garage works ever was. So there's just no need for me to put in a lot of time and effort to, try to do stuff with them. There's not near as many of them out there. All right, I'm going to get out of here. Thanks everybody for watching. I appreciate it. And if you've got something you want me to show next week or any week for that matter, let me know. I'll try to accommodate you. I think I would beg to differ with that assessment there. Probably wouldn't want to, but I believe you could do it. Because if your CNC is accurate and you position it accurate, shouldn't be any difference. All right, I'm out of here, guys. Everybody have a good Veterans Day, and we will see you next week.